Hello everybody, you probably already know me as your boy Dizzle, as I'm pretty sure that's pretty obvious given my voice, but again, today's video, as you can tell by the title, this is about my personal Twitter account being deleted. Now I just want to clarify again, this is not the NGB Twitter account. The NGB Twitter account is not going anywhere, it's not gonna disappear or anything like that. This is just me, your boy Dizzle's Twitter account going away, and we're gonna get into several reasons as to why that is. But just real quick, as I'm recording this, I'm currently getting prepared to go see a movie with my dad right now. We're gonna go see the new Demon Slayer movie, so just in case it sounds like I just got back from somewhere, or in case it sounds like it's really late or I'm really tired, it's because probably by the time I finish this video, it'll be I just got back from the movies. I'm just trying to get this all done in one night or in one setting of sorts. But yeah, also I apologize for any background noise. My nephew is currently downstairs, and sometimes he could be a bit of a cranky baby, but you know, he's only 1 year old, so you know how that goes. So yeah. At any rate though, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So the main reason why I'm getting rid of my own Twitter account would have to be, well, I mean, granted, there's always been a variety of factors that have played into it, and there have been, it hasn't been really just one singular reason for me leaving Twitter. It's been several other reasons and just stuff that's been leading up to it, and you know, the straw that broke the camel's back. But three main reasons as to why I'm leaving Twitter would definitely have to be just these three things, and you know, some of them might be a bit sensitive to people, so I'll just put a spoiler, or not a spoiler, just like a warning sign saying, hey, I'm gonna get into somewhat sensitive topics. So, you know, just as a warning, as a heads up, this is your last warning before I dive into that. So here you go. All right, now let's jump into it. One of the main reasons, one of the three, would definitely have to be just whenever I go on there, there's a lot of just like a lot of people being toxic of sorts. I don't mean toxic as in just, you know, gamer angry moments and all that stuff. I mean toxic as in you'll literally go on Twitter, and if there's controversy or if there's, you know, stuff that people are talking about or talking bad about somebody, then immediately people will just, you know, ride on that train and bank on that train, just start, you know, dissing out a bunch of, like, you know, dislike tweets, a lot of, you know, hateful tweets and all that stuff, a lot of hateful tweets, replies and all that stuff. And you really do see that often with Twitter, just like a lot of people just, you know, dissing on somebody, or just putting out a lot of angry, hateful tweets, and sometimes even send tweets that have threat messages in them. And, you know, obviously that doesn't make anybody comfortable in that environment of sorts. And for a while I sort of tolerated with that. I know I probably pronounced that incorrectly, but the point is I kind of just dealt with that real quick, didn't really think much about that. But you know, as I've been using Twitter, and as you know, there's been a lot of like controversy and a bunch of like cancel culture and all that stuff going around Twitter, it's just become more toxic in a way. It's just become a lot more uncomfortable for people like myself who enjoy making content, and then, you know, feeling like whenever I go on Twitter, instead of people just talking about positive stuff, there's just a lot of negativity with that, and just a lot of people just, you know, talking bad about somebody or sending a lot of threat tweets at somebody and all that stuff. And it's just, it bothers me to no avail. So if I had to point out one of my main reasons, it definitely had to be just like a lot of hateful stuff towards another person, just a lot of people, you know, banking on that, sending a lot of negative tweets to people nowadays. And especially with cancel culture, it certainly doesn't help. I definitely don't think that cancel culture helps in that regard of just toning down the negativity of that, and instead of helping, you know, just sort of helping people in a way, I feel like cancel culture has sort of added fuel to that fire of hate that's been going around with Twitter, and it really doesn't help. Sorry, sorry about that. I just got back from watching the new Demon Slayer movie. It is really good. Highly recommend it. But back on topic, what was I? Oh yeah, one of the main reasons. But yeah, one of the main reasons is that, Twitter has a lot of, toxicity. I don't even know if that's a word, but the point is that it's very toxic environment with Twitter, and it certainly doesn't help when you got stuff like cancel culture, which will literally blast anybody for saying something rude or saying something that they said about like 10-20 years ago when they've long grown from it. Because it's like, again, it's like with Twitter, it's like if you said something terrible, like what, when you were back in middle school in 8th grade when literally everybody said a bunch of dumb stuff, there would be somebody on Twitter that would purposely go out of their way to find that tweet and just to make you look bad and just bring the cancel culture upon you, like the wrath of the cancel culture upon you. So that's one of the reasons I'm leaving Twitter. That's just something I've seen happen a lot on Twitter, and frankly I've just had enough of seeing that every time I get on there. The second point I want to bring up with Twitter is just a lot of its issues. One main issue that's sort of been a constant issue for me is just some of those, well, for the sake of PG, let's just say some of those not so safe pictures or clips that you see on Twitter of sorts. And it's literally not even the fact that whenever you click on like a tweet and stuff and see all the replies, you see those types of, unfriendly videos of sorts. It's the fact that that type of stuff can appear in my Twitter thread, not because of the people I follow. It's not because they're the ones who are tweeting it. It's because of the stuff that they retweet or the stuff that they like of sorts. And when that happens, it frustrates me because it's like, again, it's like this isn't the stuff I wanted recommended on my Twitter thread. I didn't want all this unfriendly pictures and videos, but because somebody retweeted it or because somebody liked it, it's somewhat forced into my Twitter thread. And you could probably argue like, oh well, you could just go into your settings, select family friendly content and pictures only. And believe me, I did that. I had to do that twice, maybe even 3 times, and yet even though I turn on that setting, I still see that stuff, because with Twitter, they usually, when you turn on that setting, they usually ask you like, hey, this tweet or this pic might have some like inappropriate stuff on there, or might have inappropriate like words or language and all that stuff. Would you still want to click that of sorts? And it's like, again, you don't see that with those, unfriendly, family-friendly pictures and videos and all that stuff. And it's like, again, it's like, bro, why isn't this labeled as, unfamily-friendly content of sorts? Trying to keep this video as PG as possibly can. But it's like, again, it's like whenever I'm Twitter, I'm forced to just see that, and it frustrates me to no avail, because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see that. I just want to go on Twitter, see what the new hot funny meme is, what's the latest trend and all that stuff, and seeing what my buddies on Twitch and all other channels, just seeing what they're doing. And it sucks that whenever I go on Twitter, going through my threads or looking at somebody's reply, that I see that crap, and Twitter doesn't even, block it. They don't block it. They don't notify me saying, hey, something inappropriate might come up if you click on this. And it's like, again, they don't give me that warning. And whenever they do, it usually isn't something unfriendly or isn't something that's not family friendly. It's actually quite the opposite. Like, I'm pretty sure when I came across that, when it gave me the option of like, would you like to click on this tweet even though it might be inappropriate, when I clicked on it, clicked yes, it literally was just a single reply. It was a single reply that said, I don't know, something like liar, something like that, or some kind of like curse word, but that was it. There was no pics, no videos, no nothing. It was just a single word that somebody said. And it wasn't even that well, I guess it was technically inappropriate, since it was like some type of swear word or something like that. But it's like, again, it's like, how is it that Twitter's system that's designed to prevent people from seeing inappropriate content that they don't want to see, how is it that that system works on just simple comments like that have just like a single curse word, but yet you see like hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures and videos of people doing, stuff behind closed doors. And it's like, again, it's like you see that all over Twitter. There's literally hundreds of thousands of them that are not being censored. And it ticks me off that every time I go on Twitter when I'm just trying to see what my buddies are doing or what they tweeted, I come across that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that crap. I just want to see what my friends are tweeting, what they're saying, not this stuff. And again, it's just frustrating. So that would be my second reason for leaving Twitter. And then reason number 3, this is where, if reason number 1 wasn't somewhat of a sensitive topic, what with cancel culture, then reason number 3 is definitely going to be a bit more sensitive in the fact that Twitter has kind of become corrupt in a way. Because it's like, originally, it's like with Twitter and stuff, like when somebody's account got blocked or when somebody's account got banned or something like that, it would usually be because like, Twitter thought it was inappropriate or it was misleading or it was some kind of spam account or something that was, scamming people out of their money of sorts. That's happened before on Twitter. And it's like, again, I can see that. All right. Completely understand that. Completely reasonable. It's understandable why Twitter would, or the people working at Twitter would go out of their way to ban those accounts. But one thing I've noticed is that Twitter has sort of abused its power in blocking and deleting accounts, all because people had, like, on those accounts and stuff, like, again, like, I'm not trying to say I support these accounts or anything like that, but I'm just saying that it's like, again, it's like, even though these accounts didn't have, or they had opinions that the vast majority didn't agree on, because of those opinions, because they weren't opinions that the vast majority agreed on, those accounts were ultimately blocked. And it's like, again, it's scary when you think about it, just because it's like, again, Twitter, it's one of those realities when you realize that Twitter, the corporation, and the people working behind it have the power to give people the freedom of speech to speak on their mind, and they also have the power to take that away. And when you think about it, it makes sense, because it's like, again, they're a private, like, business, technically speaking, and, it's like, again, if they find something that's inappropriate, then naturally they're going to take it down of sorts. But when you take down somebody's opinion on a subject, regardless if you agree with it or disagree with it, because, heck, I'm sure that there are, Twitter accounts that have been banned that I would probably never follow or never agree with what they say, but I wouldn't say that they should be taken down because I don't agree with them. I don't think that person's account should be blocked or deleted because I don't agree with their opinion. And that's something I've seen and hear stories about a lot on Twitter recently, and it's just shown me just how much corruption takes place in Twitter of sorts, and the fact that there are people who refuse to acknowledge that and refuse to acknowledge the fact that Twitter has definitely become corrupt and have some form of power over the freedom of speech that we have here in the US. It's like, again, it's kind of mind-boggling and honestly kind of scary, because it just again makes you realize that, like, with these corporations, you really do have to just recognize that these corporations might just have too much power, or there might be some kind of limit that we might have to put on these corporations so that way they don't have full control. Sorry about that. I burped a little in my mouth. I know it's gross. But yeah, it's like, again, with these corporations, I feel like there needs to be some kind of limit to what they can and can't do, because clearly, day by day, as we hear more stories about people's accounts being blocked and deleted and all that stuff. And again, it's not just people whose opinions I agree with. It also applies to people whose opinions I don't agree with. And when their account gets deleted because of an opinion that Twitter doesn't like, I don't think that's right. Like, period. I don't think that's right, because, again, I think with Twitter, you should be allowed to speak your mind and speak your opinion, regardless if you agree with that person's opinion or if you don't agree with that person's opinion, agree or disagree, I think it's fair to say that they should be allowed to speak their mind and speak their opinion. And if a corporation is going to take them down just because they were talking about a subject that they either agree or disagree with, the fact that they are going to take them down because of that opinion is frightening, and it really does show just how much corruption takes place on the platform. So that would definitely be reason number 3 for why I'm leaving Twitter. So there you go. Those are my 3 main reasons as to why I'm leaving Twitter. This was just sort of a last minute thing I wanted to announce before I actually do it. I'll be deleting my hopefully I can get this video uploaded before the end of the day, because I do plan on deleting my, well, I mean, for you guys it might be today, but for me it's like hopefully I can get this done by tonight here, because it's late at night. Not too late, but it's getting pretty late. So it's like, again, as of right now, I'll probably give my Twitter account probably a few more hours after this video goes uploads and stuff, and then around that time I'll make one last tweet saying like, hey, this is going to be my last tweet because I'm going to be deleting my Twitter account. And after explaining my 3 main reasons as to why I'm leaving Twitter, hopefully you guys can understand of sorts, and hopefully I gave enough clarity as to why I'm leaving Twitter of sorts. And just want to point out that yes, I have informed JR about this, and he has mixed feelings about it, but I just told him, like, you know, ultimately I feel like I just gotta leave this platform because it's just not for me of sorts. And he was just like, alright, I understand. And so we were able to, come to a mutual agreement, but ultimately it was just something that I felt like I just needed to do, because at this point, after everything that's happened these past few, not even these past weeks, but just these past months, it's just become clearer and clearer to me that Twitter has just become more of a fire base, more of a toxic environment, where if you say even something wrong, or if you say something incorrect, or something that might offend somebody even in the slightest, then Twitter just becomes like a wild animal and just starts harassing people and all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully this video has clarified as to my reasons why I'm leaving Twitter. If you guys still want to follow me, your boy Dizzle, see what I do and what I do on my off time and all that stuff, be sure to follow my personal Instagram account. Also be sure to link JR's Instagram account onto not only our YouTube page, but yeah, basically our YouTube page and all that stuff, and I'll be sure to link that. I'll also link the NGB Twitter page of sorts. So it's like, again, even though you can't follow me on Twitter, you could still follow the NGB page, our Twitter account on there. So we'll still be active in that. But as for your boy Dizzle, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, and who knows, I might use other platforms and stuff to just post some of my other, like my artwork, for example. I've been thinking about going back and using Tumblr, just using that, because it's like with Tumblr, it's like not a lot of people use it that often, so it's not really too much trouble it's not really that big of a deal to use Tumblr, since I feel like with Tumblr all the drama with that has sort of died down for a bit, and because Tumblr has somewhat become an irrelevant social media page, I feel like it's a bit more safer to post stuff on there than probably anywhere else. So I might use Tumblr. It's not guaranteed, but it is something I'm thinking about for the future as sort of like a second basis. Like, hey, if you don't have an Instagram account, or you can't get to my Instagram account, I'll link my Tumblr account so you can follow me there as well. But I don't know. Only time will tell. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been your boy Dizzle. Sorry for taking so long to talk about my reasons why I'm leaving, but yeah, hopefully this will give you guys an idea. And from here on out, by the time this video is posted, I'll probably delete my Twitter account within the next few hours of sorts. So by the end of April the 23rd, or yeah, sometime by the end of April 23rd. So this has been your boy Dizzle, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.